As the owner of a big, large, vast, huge, gigantic, colossal penis, I can often find it very hard. I can find it very difficult to keep my hands off of it because, you know, it's right there. And sometimes I just want to... but I've, you know, got to keep my hands busy. Got to keep going and going and going and going and going. So that's why we draw. We draw and draw and draw and draw and draw and draw and draw. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures to keep our hands busy. Because, you know, we work from home. Got 24-hour access to all of the pornography in the world. It can be very difficult to stay away from that, so it's good to keep busy. What do they say? The idle hands and the devil's playing about a bit with him. I don't know. So I drew a whole bunch of shit. So, right, the point is, screenshots. I'm sure, like me, you all have huge penises, even the girls. Because girls can have penises too. Let's not be prejudiced. Girls can have lovely penises. I love a good girl penis. But also, like me, I'm sure you all screenshot. You take screenshots of cool, fun, funny shit on the internet, and you have hundreds, if not thousands, of screenshots. And if you're like me, artistically inclined, then maybe you keep those screenshots and think, oh, that's cool, I'll draw that someday, or that's cool, I'll use that as inspiration for a piece of artwork sometime in the future, who knows. And then you never do anything with them. They just sit there filling up space in your phone amongst the bikini pictures and the photos of pregnant women breastfeeding. Oh, just me, is it? Oh, tee. So, you know, October's the intro. Look, that's... Oh, monkeys. Monkeys are fun, aren't they? October is the month of drawing prompts. Inktober, Spooktober, Drawloween. There's a Bad Guys Club. Whole fucking slew of, you know, shitty draw reprompt lists. And they get to be boring as fart. I wasn't going to participate. I have participated previously in previous years. I wasn't going to participate in anything this year because I don't really care. But then I was sort of figuring out a separate project I wanted to do, something along the lines of drawing all of my screenshots every day for forever or whatever, and then it'd be like drawing all of my screenshots every day, day one, and then I'd draw one of my screenshots. But I thought, why don't I just fucking connect those? So I did. So I invented drawing all of my screenshots Tober, where I draw a screenshot every day. Most days I did 30 out of the 31, so it makes a nice like 5x6 grid of drawings I can use, rather than 31. It just makes sense, doesn't it? So I did. So this was sculptures by, I've got them all written down, let me see. Oh God, why do people have names that my Western tongue finds difficult to pronounce? Radziwick, I believe, sculptor Radziwick Sculpt. I don't know. I apologise for butchering the name, but sculptures by. If I have my senses on when editing, I'll put the images up. And so monkeys, more monkeys. Oh, a lot of my screenshots are of monkeys, and a lot of them are of sculptures, and a lot of them are of back muscles and things. So you'll see some recurring themes crop up. As monkeys, they were sculptures by monkey _ crab. I'm doing my best to, credit the artists, because apparently that's important. I don't give a fuck. If someone shows off my drawings and doesn't credit me, I don't give a fuck. People know. They know it's me. But I know I'm supposed to be nice and credit the artist. I just thought, yeah, and you can sort of see, to start with, they're pretty loose sketches, just sort of getting the lines and whatever. And they were all drawn with black ballpoint pens, so you'll see that throughout. Oh, look at that one. Wow, look, that's his dick. And the whole point was just quick, loose drawings just to get through my screenshots folder, because that's what I just wanted to do, something with my fucking screenshots. And so I was drawing monkeys. These cool, like toy sculpts, monkey shapes. I love the shapes in here. You could almost use this as like, maybe not directly, but you know, if you're drawing more human anatomy, that's a pretty good guide of like the basics of fucking whatever. Oh, speaking of fucking human anatomy and back muscles, there's this one, Leah Schreiner, I believe, from a photo from their Instagram from ages ago. I don't know when it was, but yeah, a lot of back muscles, because back muscles and back into where it goes into like this bit here, where it goes from back to front muscles, where they connect. I have difficulty in drawing those parts, so I take a lot of screenshots of those particular groups of muscles. So there's quite a few of those. And that was one particular photo I really, really liked, and so I drew it, and I was really, really happy with the drawing. But straight, like with 3 drawings in, 3 days in. Quick, loose, fairly rough. Obviously, they're brilliant sketches, but they are quick, loose, rough sketches, and that's pretty much that too. You know, no real effort in the colouring in or blocking out of the shadow or whatever. Just sort of get them done. But then by the 3rd drawing, I was like, no, I want to make it a good drawing though. I want people to look at it and go, oh, that's a really fucking good drawing, rather than just, oh, that is a drawing of a person's back. I want it to be a fucking good drawing, and that's a fucking good drawing. I really like the you know, it's not even real hatching, but the use of building up of hatching to get the shadow, the light and shadow on her posterior there. I say her, them, her, their posterior. Wolverine! That was a really cool sculpture by someone. Christian Quateron, I believe. I don't know. Look them up if you fancy. You should. They're really, really good. I follow a lot of like sculptors, special effects sculptors rather, and people who sculpt toys and figures and things. Just because they make cool shit. A lot of them, they do. A lot of people do cool monkeys and things. But if you look at sculpting of anatomy, it's really, really good to like look at in terms of how to draw anatomy, because you're seeing how somebody else crafts anatomy in 3 dimensions, and that can really help give you a sense of how to go about drawing that. So I drew that. This screenshot I took, and that was in my phone at the time, was from a while ago, before he even added hands onto this unfinished sculpture of Wolverine. But I liked it, so I drew it, and I mean, again, straight away you can see I'm spending more time on the shadow and the rendering and the detail, the veins and shit. That was a cool one. And then this one, so that was maybe about an hour or so to get that drawing done, which I know I do work pretty quick. This was about 3 hours because I wanted to make it a good drawing. This was a 3D computer image sculpt by who? Who the fuck did this one? I think I'm trying to make sure I've got them in the right order. Stalin Quito, I don't know, but I apologise for not pronouncing the names, but I'm British, so I don't know anything because I'm ignorant and white. Loved that sculpt, and I thought, hey, that's cool, I'll draw that at some point. And then I just didn't, and it sat in my phone doing fucking nothing. And it was cool to have an opportunity and a reason to sit and draw it. I'm really, really happy with like the curve of the skin under the jaw here, and the lighting, the rim lighting on the side, and the shadows, and the shape of it as a whole. It's really, really cool. I think originally I'd planned to just draw them quick and loose, and so for this one just draw a alligator guy with like these wrist wraps and things, but then sort of the more I went on, the more strictly I stuck to the screenshot, which wasn't necessarily what I wanted out of all of this. I didn't want straight copies of the screenshots, but that's pretty much what I ended up with. But regardless, they're good drawings. They're cool, fun drawings. This was a cool one. Love this. I loved the sculpt of this. Thought it was really, really fun. Straight away, I knew I have to draw that. I may even take this further and like do a cool painting of it or something. I don't know. This is a collaboration, I think, between I think the Monsters is like the company that makes these into toys or whatever, and the guy who actually sculpted it was Mark Newman Sculpture. I follow him, and I like quite a lot of his stuff. I think I've doodled some of his stuff before. It's really, really good. I love the like, even as like one thing that would be really, really cool if it was like a Frankenstein thing or a fish monster thing, that'd be really cool. But to have them both like literally stitched together, that hand, the claw there, the claw hand is really cool, and then the literal claw is cool. It's just a crab claw or whatever, but it's really, really cool. I love the shapes in the heads and faces, the wings, a little bit irritating. That's something I guess I need to practice, is wings. They can always be very, very, very difficult to do, especially if someone commissions you to draw a picture of birds attacking a cat, and then you have to Google image 8,000 pictures of bird wings so you can draw / paint them correctly. This is Bonehead, a toy made by my pal Beast Wreck, who you probably all know and love already. His work's fucking fantastic. He doesn't do a lot of 3D work. I think this was in collaboration with somebody else, but yeah, really, really cool looking toy. That was a screenshot from the first day I saw it, knowing I might have to draw that at some point. And then I think secretly knowing I'm never going to draw that. But then I fucking drew that. Look, it's like the bone makes like the Mickey ears kind of in his Mickey shorts. And it's like skeleton, and that's cool. I was happy with that one. Caton, my pal Caton. I always thought his name was pronounced like Catoon. And then maybe at some point I thought maybe it could be a weird way of spelling cartoon. Katun, because you can sort of feasibly see how that could be pronounced cartoon, cartoon. I thought that was really cool, like a cool way to spell cartoon. Turns out I believe the pronunciation is Caton, so it's nothing to do. This is a sculpture he did of a monkey. I told you, monkeys. Lots and lots and lots of screenshots of monkeys and monkey sculptures and monkey sex. We will not go into that. This fits into something else I like, which is animals dressed like people in street clothes, like hoodies and trainers with spray cans and shit. Really, really like that one. And I've got about, I don't know, 50 million screenshots of his work in particular, because I really, really like his stuff. And that's one that I drew. A space marine. That was just a picture of a space marine. I haven't researched it. I probably should, but I haven't looked into who originally like designed and then sculpted like the. I guess this isn't the original Space Marine, but there's this like, I think maybe 3rd or 4th edition, maybe Space Marine. I'm not sure. Games Workshop Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, a classic, just a cool drawing of fucking that. And then another Space Marine, but this one, who's this one sculptor? Let me check my notes. I believe this is Vlad Fox Sculpture. I think this was, these little skulls here are all like cat skulls, and then in the photo you can see in this little banner bit it says meow, because the full finished piece of this, I think it was like a cat Space Marine. It had like a cat head. But then, as you can probably see if I've put the thing up, he used just putty just to make a quick little earthworm Jim head and pop that in and take a photo, which wasn't his final piece of this, but I thought it was really, really cool, so I took that as a screenshot, and knowing I'll probably draw that at some point. And then someone else sent that picture to me on Instagram to be like, oh, hey, you should draw this. And I was like, way ahead of you. And then, of course, the issue there is when someone does that and you do draw it, you feel like, oh, now they think I did it because they sent it to me. But I was already going to do it. Don't fucking tell me what to do. Cunt. Hey, more Games Workshop, more Warhammers. That used to be what we call them. We call individual Warhammer miniatures Warhammers when I was a kid in school, because we were stupid. Arguably, we still are, but, goblins, can't go all goblins. Love monkeys, love goblins. See, because goblins are like little green monkey people. So what's not to love? They're fucking cool. Now, these are two that I actually diverged slightly from the actual screenshot. You'll notice they do look a bit different to the actual screenshots, because I did draw them like a straight, as close as I could get a one-to-one copy of the picture in the screenshot, but they just looked kind of shitty. Because they're small and they're old sculpts, so they maybe don't have the quality that newer sculpts might have. And so the drawings, I just wasn't happy with the drawings. So I redrew them, but like made them a little bit more characterful and cartoony, and just sort of exaggerated bits and just took the screenshots as a basis and then drew upon that. And as you may have noticed, is a lot of these, if not all of them, come in pairs. So you've got 2 goblins, two space marines, 2 like physical toy type sculpts, 2 weird mutant hybrid sculpt things, 2 pieces with muscles, 2 monkey based things. That wasn't initially done on purpose, but I think within 3 or 4 days I decided to keep that as an ongoing thing, because if it's not out yet, it will be soon. I'll be putting all of this together in a printed zine, like a magazine but small, and that'll be available at some point. I'll make a video showing it off, but I thought it made sense, because then every 2-page spread can have a drawing on the left, a drawing on the right, and there'll be a pair of drawings that will work in tandem. Yeah, so 2 little goblins here, and then the previous page will be 2 space marines. And in the zine, I've flipped some of them so they're mostly facing each other, just for my own visual pleasure and fucking whatever. Whoa, check that shit out. Fuck goblins, we love goblins. I love every and any opportunity to really go in and cross-hatch the fuck out of a goblin's face, all the wrinkles and creases and shadows. I was really happy with that drawing. That's going to be the front cover image of my zine, because I like it so much. And that was sculpted by Shell Sculpture Studio. Both of these were, actually. This one I like, but not as much as I like this one. That's more of a little rabid, nasty goblin-looking thing, whereas this is more of a like you could imagine this existing in a goblin society where they have language and tools and prostitution. Whereas this one would be like a little goblin living in the wild, a feral, fucking eating pigeons and squirrels and shit. I mean, they might eat pigeons and squirrels, but they'd cook them. These ones would eat them raw, just fucking. 2 really cool sculptures, both by Shell Sculpture Studio. 2 drawings I'm really happy with. Again, they'll go page to page next to each other. Really good. Oh, so one of my old favourite accounts from Instagram used to be Rat Bro Team, where they made these Rat Bro toys, which were like rat people, animals in human clothes. It's fucking cool, man. Not in a furry way. I'm cool with furries. I like furries. I've got friends that are furries. They're fucking weirdos. But I'm not into that. But I'm into like basically a person with an animal head. And I like that, you know. BoJack Horseman, that's a good example of the sort of way I like it to be, which is all irrelevant. So Rat Bro Team, a Russian girl and guy team, they made all these little rats in streetwear, hip trendy clothing, hoodies and jackets and sneakers and whatever, spray cans and spliffs and skateboards and shit. It's cool. They've recently morphed into Underground Monster Toys, or Monster Underground Monster Toys, because now they've branched out from just making rat bros, and they make all kinds of animals and like hip hop artists and things. These are 2 of them, a husky and a cat, pictured together. I drew them together. Thought that was really cool, really fun one to draw. I've got loads and loads of screenshots of their stuff, and that was just one of their rat bro guys. I like his like cheeky smile he's got going on. What's he up to? What's he planning? I've painted and drawn loads of their stuff over the years, because they're just fucking cool. Now they make them. They're actually like sculpted things, and they hand stitch the clothes and the everything. Really cool. Wolverine and Batman. These 2 were also by the same guy, Nazart.ist, which I assume is Nazartist, but Nazart.ist. A Wolverine, a Batman. Did you ever notice how really similar like the shapes of their masks are? There was even a thing in Amalgam Comics where Marvel and DC bashed their shit together, and I think it was like Dreadclaw or Deathclaw or something, and it was literally a Wolverine Batman hybrid. That was a thing that existed. But 2 cool head sculpts, had screenshots, drew them. It's good to do that stuff, I find, because similarly with anatomy, it's good to see how the light works on creases on the skin and how to differentiate between materials and stuff. So like a more of a shiny sort of a cowl mask, as they call it, and then a less shiny skin. And yeah, it's good. It's good to do studies of that sort of stuff. I find like life drawing, but from funny little sculpted heads of comic book characters. Woo! Simon Bisley, scadapadow. This is a baboon character whose name I forget because I'm stupid. From a comic called Maximum Force or something like that. It's a Simon Bisley art comic, and this is a double page spread, and I really, really like it, so I drew it. How can you not? It's like Lobo, but as a baboon almost, with the chains and the thing, and the boots are similar, hair's similar. I just picked my nose and then did this. It might have snot on it now. Really, really cool piece originally, and my version is... I'm happy with it. I like it. Shut up. And another Simon Bisley. So, again, we've got two pairs. I don't even like pears. I prefer a nice tangerine. Judge Dredd. That's a classic one from the Judge Dredd Batman crossover, which I always feel like this image in the comic could be just out of context. There's nothing in the image relating it to the rest of the comic, and I feel like this is probably just like a Dredd piece he had lying around, or at least the sketch was or something, and he just put it in the comic because fuck it, whatever. But that's a really well-known image, and then I drew it. An interesting thing is I did something similar with this, where this is like flat digital colour in the original, but then I sort of translated it into a hatched and shaded ballpoint effect. I had to do something more with it than just the flat blacks and whites. And then this, I was having to translate a physically painted image into ballpoint pen, which was quite an interesting challenge. The difficulty, or one difficulty, being not to make everything the same tone, so making the suit a different tone from the pads and the gloves and everything, and whatever. But it's a cool drawing, and it's dick, so that's good. Fat Pikachu! I don't know if this has an original artist or anything. It's a photo of a big fat Pikachu stuffed toy, and then the face in the original image is photoshopped to have the shocked Pikachu face. I imagine the actual stuffed toy has the standard cute Pikachu face, which is cool. I didn't even know that would be a thing. Like, why would you have a giant fat Pikachu? But cool, I want a giant fat Pikachu. And I like the shocked Pikachu face. I think it's cool and cute. So I drew it, and that was another challenge of trying to like add subtle sort of shadow and creases to make it look like fabric sort of squishing on itself, which I think I did at least somewhat successfully. But just another reason it's good to do your studies, to study your art, not just draw 3/4 character designs on a blank background of anime characters. A Dunkel Skog. I never know how to pronounce it, but it's the famous IKEA bear that everyone knows and loves, the Jungle Skog. We all know him, we all love him. I want one. I shouldn't have one because I'll do horrible things with it, as in I will take him with me to accompany me while I do crimes. Not that I was going to have sex. Don't make it dirty. Wow, look at the eye with the claw and tentacles and veins and shit. I was really happy with the veins and shit. Now these are another two. Again, we're doing it all in pairs. From my pal, Artem Solop. I've never asked. I don't know if there's a particular way you're supposed to pronounce his name. Artem Solop. I'm not sure, but his drawings are really, really cool. He's got a really cool, distinctive, defined style. And so these were two where I didn't want to just copy, because then it's just it's somewhat with the Simon Bisley ones, but more so with these, where I copied the basis of it, but then drew it in a way that was more natural to me, because his style is very, very different from mine, and I feel like I'd be forcing myself to draw in his style, which it wasn't what I was going for. So I made him a bit more my sort of style, kind of. So a bit more sort of fluid and biological, as opposed to the almost robotic sort of looking vibe that his original artwork has. That was cool. I really liked this one. And then I did this one, and frankly, it blew the first one out of the water. I love this. All these, like, I don't know, veins, pipes, tendons, they were all really, really fun to do them, like the spaghettiing in and out of each other, and the claws and everything. I really, really like that one. That's a really cool piece. I'm really happy with this. Now this is one that's going to be... I took extra care with this one. This took quite a while because my plan is to paint this in a similar way to where I've done Simon Bisley forgeries, copies, studies. We call them studies. I want to do a similar thing with this, which is a painting by David Gallagher Art on Instagram. A classic Games Workshop piece of artwork from the game Gorka Morka, which is like an offshoot of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Orcs versus orcs in like a Mad Max desert setting. Really, 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 really fucking cool. And this artwork is quite fucking iconic, and I love it. And orcs, you know, orcs and goblins, they always go together. Whenever I play Skyrim, I'm an orc. Not always, but very often I'm an orc. They're my people. Orcs are my people. And goblins, if I could play a goblin, and you can, because there's mods. That's not relevant at all. I was really, really happy with how this came out. I did a rougher version in a previous podcast. You might have seen that one. Yeah, I really, really liked this drawing. I was really happy with it, and it's going to be really fun to paint. I did it purposely on thicker paper, so I can paint it at a later date. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to put that away from the others to whatever. Another David Gallagher one. I didn't actually realise until I started drawing this and I actually looked up who the fuck drew it. This is from Space Hulk, which is another Warhammer 40,000 offshoot, where it's like the Alien movie franchise, like that, where you're on a spaceship and there's aliens going in the ducts and shit, and they're coming after you, and you got your little team of warriors, and you got to blast the aliens out of the vents. This one, I think I did his head too big and a bit too cartoony, so to me it stands out as being a bit and it's very difficult because there was a lot more detail in the original piece, and so I tried to sort of black that out and use light and shadow, and I'm not as happy with this drawing as I hoped I'd be. I like it. I don't hate it. I'm just not as sort of happy with it as I would have been originally. As I was fucking saying, I actually looked up who did it, and I didn't realise until I looked it up that it's the same guy who did that one. So that's cool. He's so prolific. He's one of the I don't know, top premier Games Workshop artists of olden days, back in like the 90s or whatever, when I was into early 2000s. Whatever. Me when I wake up in the morning, me when I stub my toe, me when I climax, me when I don't know. Well, I squeeze my nipples on purpose because I kind of like the way it feels, even though it hurts. A sculpt by, who's it by? This one's by Andy Bergholtz, of course. Two of his. This is an Andy Bergholtz sculpt. I really liked the sculpture. I drew it. This was Vergerm. I apologise if there's a certain way I'm supposed to pronounce his name. Also, he's a really, really good sculptor. He's got a really definitive style as well. A lot of sculptors, their work can blend into one another. Everyone has their own style and their own way of doing things. But Vergerm has a very distinctive style of sculpting, that his work stands out to me among a bunch of other sculptors. This isn't necessarily one of his like most amazing, wildest pieces. It's just a really good, solid, nice skull sculpt that I really liked, and I thought it's worth drawing for that. A fucking monkey moose. I think this is another Andy Bergholtz one. I think it's the bad ape from Planet of the Apes, the newer Planet of the Apes. Koba or Coda or Kodam or Kodak or something. Love the sculpt. It's a monkey. I love their shapes of monkey heads. They're so fucking aesthetically, physically, visually pleasing to look at and draw. I love the shape of the head with the ears and the maw, the muzzle and the nose and that brow in it. It's just so fucking fun. It was fun to like do the shading on the scars and stuff. And then to paying attention to like not just make the muzzle round, but notice that it does have like a lip and then a curve, like a lip and then a curve, as opposed to just being curved right from the bottom. So it was an interesting challenge to sort of try and make that happen in ballpoint pen, which by now I can do easily because I'm a master of my craft. More monkeys. The same sculptor who sculpted the first one. So see, we end sort of where we started. Started with a couple of apes, a couple of gorillas, and we're finishing off with a couple of gorillas. Again by Radziwick Sculptor. Really nice, solid gluteus maximus gorilla sculpts. Who doesn't love some fucking monkeys and apes and stuff? And that was that. That was fucking October. That was my Inktober, I suppose you could call it. Like I say, there'll be a zine on the way. A bunch of people have pre-ordered that because if you're on my Patreon, which you should all do, you should all go to patreon.com/ewan and sign up for as little as $1 a month for access to a whole bunch of stuff, including being able to pre-order the zine. That will be on its way very, very soon. But that's all of that. So now my hands are free and I'm going to go play with my car.